Hello ladies and gents, today we have a different kind of video. Today I'm flying over to Shannon Airport in the Republic of Ireland to explore a little slice of aviation history. For those of you who watch my channel regularly, you'll probably be able to guess, but I'm going to visit Foynes Flying Boat Museum with a friend of mine, Ian Fisher.
Well, the North Atlantic was one of the last frontiers to be conquered by the early aviators. From the most westerly tip of Newfoundland to the nearest landfall on the west coast of Ireland was a distance of almost 2,000 miles. Lindbergh had flown this vast stretch of islandless waters with its constantly changing weather conditions in a plane primitive by today's standards. No wonder then that he became an overnight hero. In the same year that Lindbergh carried out his solo conquest of the Atlantic, one trip founded Pan American Airways. Under his far-seeing leadership, Pan Am set out to bring the exhilaration of transoceanic flight within the range of ordinary passengers.
These days we lead quite convenient lives when we need to travel. With the exception of the longest air routes, you can pretty much expect to take a plane from A to B without much fuss, and definitely without having to stop for fuel along your route. This just wasn't practical 100 years ago. Aircraft were slow and their range was limited. This meant that in the early years of transatlantic aviation, aircraft had to fly to the westernmost airport, fill up the tanks to the max, and then fly to the easternmost airport in Newfoundland, refuel, and then make their way to their final destination. This was the standard model for transatlantic crossings until the jet age, with a few notable exceptions. Foynes Seaplane Base was the last stop before heading out across the Atlantic and therefore held all the significance of an international airport in its day. Once land-based aircraft had gained the technological ability to make the hop, Shannon Airport was then used in a similar fashion to Foynes as a refueling and customs stop. Nowadays, the only people flying to Shannon are mainly locals. It's lost most of its international traffic now that we have aircraft with longer ranges. Join Ian and I as we explore the museum. Oh, goodness me. That's just a little bit bigger than I imagined it. Don't you think?
Wow.
That's just a little... When you're underneath it,
appreciate
that's just a little bit bigger than I imagined it.
It's accurate, yeah, 1-to-1.
Oh, look at the nose of the thing. Goodness me. Oh, that's colossal. Wow. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. I knew it was big, yeah. I just wasn't quite expecting how tall that would be.
Mm.
But then how can you when all we do is have it in the sim and we don't...
Yeah, it's from a distance, isn't it? You never...
I remember the
So...
The room at the front in the nose, you've got like bunk beds and you've got a stairs up to the top cockpit.
Is that the crew?
And that would have been a forward hatch
That's
because
that's climbing hole.
for the feet, to actually get on top, because as it's taxiing in the water, you need someone at the front to grab hold of the buoy.
Yeah,
in the water.
That's when they threw the ropes.
That would have opened up, and there would have been someone who would have been either thrown in or thrown out. He would have been there with a long boat hook, reaching down into the water. Well, no, because if the buoy is just in the estuary somewhere, and they're taxiing up to the buoy, there needs to be someone hanging half out that door
to catch it.
to hook up the rope. Yeah. Goodness me. I mean, you can see it's obviously a mock-up, but they've done a very good job. A very good job at giving you the feeling of the size of it.
Full size of it.
It's,
It was like
Right, well, let's go and have a look inside. So here is...
Here we go.
Here is... I remember seeing this online. Yeah, so here, look. Inside the nose you'd have like a double-deck bunks with a ladder that went up to the second level, and you could walk into the cockpit from the front.
Is that for the crew?
Yes, that would be for the cruise day cabin.
Oh, cruise.
No, that's crew.
Right.
And then because of the shape of the fuselage, all of these rooms, they're not all on the same level. You see, like the stair, like it goes up and then up and then up to go further up and up. So
Deluxe suite at the back.
Deluxe suite at the back. Yeah, no one else is going to pass through that, is there?
Dressing room.
Yeah. Let's just move this piece of piping.
Sleeping.
Yeah. Crazy. So this we've got this information in our manuals, but you can see the British had 3 of them, and the American, the Pan Am had these, and the British had these.
Yeah, look, all ours were sold. All theirs are scrapped and
either scrapped
damaged or crashed.
Yeah.
It's quality. We look after ours, you see.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
Our guys.
Right. Well, let's go see what all the fuss is about, shall we? Let's just So this is, as Ian and I have discussed this, but this is essentially an approximation of what it would have been like internally, because when
Where's
my
gin?
Yes.
Where's my gin, please? Waiter?
Yes, just coming, sir, just coming.
Hurry up, old boy.
Yes. Yes, you would have the sleeping berths. So the actual internal layout of the 314 isn't really known definitively. So the information they had when they built this was enough for them to build this, but I think they've updated. They've since found that it wasn't quite like we see it now. Sort of like a little washroom. Interesting, you just see the corridor just slopes down and away. And these elevation changes on the floor.
What I'm thinking though is the waiters that brought the food and drinks around.
Yeah.
And they would have had to come through all of this.
Yeah.
Because these are dining rooms, aren't they?
Yes, well, they would have been sitting/dining rooms.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about it...
Where's the galley? Back there? Or?
Well, no, this is a washroom.
Oh, right.
So, I think the kitchen may be further forward.
But the waiters would have had to climb up these ramps.
Yeah.
With food and drinks.
Yeah.
Piled up for their guests.
Yeah. So here we've got the patented, the first flushing toilet ever designed on a commercial airliner, and that doesn't open, but we can see that's like a dressed room. So that would have been the stateroom. That would have been like the richies on their honeymoon, or the high ranking military officers would have had their private room there.
And this was
this would have been
ladies' dressing room.
Well, I mean, if there's 2 toilets there's one there and one behind there. This just would have been where you washed your hands, I guess.
Yeah.
What a thing! Goodness me! Just. And it's like, and this is a commercial airliner that takes you across the Atlantic.
I know.
There you go. There's your safety. There's your single glazed window there, with your blinds. Oh, goodness me! Let's go and see the. Now, I'm pretty sure you are able to get to the cockpit in this, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Right. So again, through these rooms. So there's where we came in. Yep. Okay. Again, another... What is that? I do not know what that is.
This must be the galley.
Is that a gentleman's receptacle?
Could be.
Do we call that?
Yeah.
I think. Oh, I see. Okay, there's another toilet back in there, and then I have maybe that's. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not gonna. Here's our galley.
Yeah.
Very small.
The steward making all the fresh meals and proper meat and nothing packaged. It was all cooked fresh and delivered on silver plates.
Probably slightly bigger than a World War II submarine's galley. So.
And that's the cockpit up the top.
Yeah. So frontways. Okay. Now I don't know if they would have had this little window, but this was what we were talking about before. Yep. And then you've got hammocks.
Right.
Hammocks further up, and that's the outside of that's that door we saw from the outside.
So these guys were almost sailors, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very much so.
Aviators.
Do you know when I remember researching when they were getting ready to take off, they didn't have a red caution light. They had the Blue Peter. So they flew the Blue Peter before they take off. So a lot of naval traditions came over because the second that the plane hit the water, it was essentially a vessel.
Yeah.
So all of the maritime rules would have come in. So
and that's what we call airplane ships, don't we?
A flying boat. Yeah. Right. This is the.
Here we go.
This is the real deal here. This is what we've all come for. Goodness me. You've got to be kidding. This is massive. This is insane.
And if 5 people worked in here? A flight deck of 5?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's insane. Look at that. So, it's quite the approximation, really.
Yeah.
Of what things look like, but I like how they've actually got. You can tell this is the island at Foynes, and then so you would have been moored in here somewhere, but you've got your. I'm interested. So down here, you've got your throttle quadrant, but they don't have any of the associated gauges or gyro pilot, etc. things there. They've not got any.
It's just a seat. It's just a bench.
Well,
for a pilot seat.
I don't think that would have actually looked like that. I think that's just their way of.
I imagine it's crude.
But
I've got to sit.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Right.
I've got to go and sit.
Up you get.
I've got to sit in it. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna break anything. Right.
Oh.
Clear for action. Number 2, starting number 3. Look at these. Pedals.
Well, I'm imagining the rudders wouldn't have been hydraulically driven. It would have been like direct linkages. Direct linkages.
Yeah,
so you've got to have massive paddles there to really shove those.
Yeah. All of this stuff is not right, is it? It's
no,
just a mock-up.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were.
That's kind of.
Well, yeah. You've got
the gyros.
Your gyro.
The speed.
Yeah.
Of the thing.
Yeah. That's just your Sperry
right.
pilot heading. Bank
and RPMs. So that's kind of. That's the later ones. That's the A's, isn't it? Because the 314 had 4, didn't they? 4 and 4.
Yes.
These are combined.
Yes, combined. Yeah. So this would have been the A model.
This is an A model.
I think. Yeah. I'd have to check in the sim.
Yeah.
What I'll do is over this video I will overlay clips of the 314 in the sim, so you can get a side by side comparison. But you've
50, 60 degrees of flap.
Yeah,
Look at all the stops on they've got.
Yeah. Wow.
Rate of climb. When they could only manage, 200 or 300. that was it. That was full. I don't know why they had these up here. They never got there.
No.
It was here.
Yeah. Yeah. They've done a good job though in the whole
in setting the atmosphere. And this was pretty much. They've made these, haven't they?
Overhead panel.
Yeah.
You've got your starter boosters, landing lights, your mags, and your taxi, pitot heaters, everything. Yeah.
There's your boosters, start boost.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm going to have a sit next to you. So I'm going to. I just put.
Set that there and.
I just set that down and I'll have a sit. Oh dear goodness me. What?
Alright, number one.
But I'm kind of appreciating now at this altitude above the water. We're what? 2 stories above the water?
Yeah, we've come up 2 lots of steps, haven't we? And then the spiral.
Yeah. Yeah. And looking over, you would have seen the massive radials behind you.
Yeah. And the thick wings that they used to go in.
Oh yeah. Well, we can go see those.
Walk through.
This is I mean, this is just like.
And that's access.
You couldn't imagine this unless you had seen it.
No.
Because that's access from the front nose through the cockpit of the aircraft.
So, you know, the guys were flying there.
These guys will be coming
crawl
over now.
through.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pop the camera down in here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. And that's into the front nose. But if you think about it, actually I've now realised, because I was thinking earlier on, how does the guy in the nose who's trying to catch the buoy, how does he all the way over there communicate with the pilots? The pilot, you'd have to open your window, your side window. You could probably shout as loud as you could over the noise of the radials, and he might just about hear you.
Yeah.
But if you shout down that corridor, he's definitely going to hear that.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If he shouts in over his shoulder up towards you with that hatchway.
They had some signalling, didn't they?
I don't know.
Certainly for the passengers, I think. In the
Right.
manual, weren't there
Maybe.
like signalling for the stewards or something?
Yeah.
There was some signal lights.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure there were.
And then these would come across.
Yeah, they brought these in so they didn't get the glare
Yes.
of. Was it from the glare from this into the navigation or
Probably.
from the other way around?
Could be. Probably both. Yeah.
Because they both needed, especially obviously at night, you want
Yeah.
darkness.
When I thought about this, I envisaged that you'd actually be able to look out the windows, but they've tinted them all in and they've put images behind. But actually being able to look out the windows, despite the fact you're looking down into the rest of the building, the museum, it still would give you the appreciation of height, which I think that it would actually work in their favour if they removed that and just had glass. But there we go. All right. Okay. So in terms of navigator's table. I think that's that gentleman's bag.
Can I have a look?
There you are.
So this would have been okay. So they would have had a map, but this looks like it's all drawn in pencil. These weather pressure
drawn every day.
These weather pressure lines. Goodness me! Can you imagine having to draw that in like every day?
Yeah. Obviously, that's They obviously had a perspex or pencil, so they could rub it off and start again.
Oh, because maybe these lines were drawn on the perspex and the map was underneath.
Absolutely, because otherwise they'd have had loads of copies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that every day.
And this,
now
Foynes Harbour, right?
We both said it at the same time.
So here's the island.
Yeah.
If I zoom out here.
So did they land? Were these?
So those are bearing points. It's very dark right now, but if I just pop, okay. So that there is a bearing point on the tip of the island. And that line goes all the way out there. This right here is what interests me. The actual outline of. So it would have been this pier here, and this pier here that they would have docked at, or they would have just moored in this general area.
And didn't they send a launch out to it?
Yeah,
bring
probably.
Them back?
Yeah.
Or did they actually come up against the hard dock?
I think I saw a few photos of them coming up against the hard dock, but that wouldn't stop them mooring in the water either. I think.
I wonder if they landed out here and then taxied round, because that's really narrow for them to come in there at 100 miles an hour.
I think there maybe was either a runway here or definitely a primary runway going out here.
There.
Because if you think about the island, you've got all of whenever there's a wind, you've got wind coming across an island.
That's just too narrow in there.
That's you've got a lot of turbulence going on. Yeah.
Airline survey. Feet. Soundings in feet.
Soundings, right.
So these are feet, yeah?
Yeah.
13 feet, 27 feet.
Yeah.
So obviously they need a big draft to...
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that was a...
High water, low water.
Dernish trees. That point there is the point there. Dernish trees, it looks like.
Tidal streams. Yeah, so look, they had to take that into account.
Yeah, the tide, goodness.
Direction, look, 213, 2. Oh. There's the direction there at different
tidal
different
streams
tides.
Referred by HW at Galway. Hours, rate, speed, tidal information and chart datum. Interesting. Low water, high water. Foynes Island, 16 feet, etc., etc. Let's just refocus. Interesting. Huh. And then we've got the radio bench. Now that, of course, is a complete approximation.
Yes, it's just...
in
fact, it's just boxes, it's just wood. It's not even a real...
Yeah.
The real thing, but...
And did they ever figure out what this actually was? Because remember in the manual them saying they didn't actually know what that was for. It's never been recorded as to what that actually was for.
No.
And this, of course, is where you would have had your porthole into the central wing spar, so you would have had gangways going that way.
There we are.
Ah, right.
That's it.
Now, what is this for? That's nothing, okay. But essentially, that porthole, you would have looked down into the wing spar, and I'll overlay a clip in the simulator of what that actually looks like. And then back here, that back here is just...
that's your baggage.
That's just baggage.
Yeah.
But there would have been a ladder there up into the bubble, because remember there was a bubble.
Yes, for the sextant.
The bubbles for the observations would have been up there, and there would have been a ladder going up there. Huh. Well, what a size of a flight deck. I don't know that any other aircraft in history, apart from maybe the Howard Hughes seaplane, has a bigger flight. Oh, could be maybe Bristol Brabazon, yeah. But I mean this.
But for the guys to work in this,
spacious
and
have seats and
jump seats, if you like.
Exactly. Well, I remember learning that, like you say, if it was a crew of 5, and they were doing a flight that was, 15 hours.
Yeah,
they would have 2 crews.
They'd have crew, wouldn't they?
So the on crew and the off crew. So that's 10 people.
Yeah.
And the off crew could easily have been milling around here, observing what was going on, checking. So this could have been quite a social space.
They had training flights as well. So a lot of these people had to be trained.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop that there, so I can. Yeah. But that is a massive space. Yeah.
Not to squeeze into. You look at something like the Vulcan.
Yeah.
You know, where you're all.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's all aeroplane, and they haven't. You know, the pilots are an afterthought.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, they squoze in, and it's awful. You can't see anything, and you get something like. All right. Oh, that's just the name of the guys who built it.
Okay.
So here's the go lights. You know, port, starboard lights, go, cockpit and bow, interphone.
Right.
It reminds me of a telegraph thing on a ship. You know,
Yeah.
ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Forward.
Yeah.
The captain says, "Well, I want more power."
Yeah. Yeah. And then the prop increase, decrease.
Yeah.
And that was like the prop synchronizer, I think. Yeah, this is all just a mock-up of various things, but yeah, props, mixtures, propellers, all sorts.
Well.
Yeah. Huh.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. And then out there, I mean, look at the side of that radial engine.
Yeah.
That is massive.
That's right.
Absolutely gargantuan.
You look at a 777 engine today. That sort of diameter, isn't it?
That is on par with a modern 737 or a Airbus A320 engine size. Just the cowling of the radial.
Yeah.
That's.
Oh, it's bigger. I think. It's bigger.
I'd say it's about the same diameter.
I mean, that
as
looks
maybe.
like a 747 or a 777 engine. You know, the massive things.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's big.
Yeah. And the thickness of the wing is just
you can understand
insane.
Why they could go through and walk through to
you could walk through
service
it.
the engines.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Whew. Well, I'm going to stop this video here and start recording again when we're on the outside.
Catch up somewhere else. There was one tail.
Yes.
And then they made it 2, and then they still weren't happy with the authority.
So the
Boeing came up with the triple.
yeah.
That's the only way they could get enough rudder
I'm just going to step over here.
pressure.
And there's an Ian for scale. Wow. I mean, that is insane.
I'm really surprised at how steep that is.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that on takeoff, they didn't rotate. They just lifted gently beyond it because of the power.
Right.
Because they couldn't power away.
No.
You watch them, they just ease off gently.
They ease off.
And then spend the next 500 miles just going.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised why they needed
that angle. But I mean, on takeoff speed, the weight of the plane would be on the step, wouldn't it? On the forward section.
Yeah.
So, if they rotated, because the water's on the step, you've got quite a lot of clearance here. But so actually, I suppose the whole idea of the dynamics of the hull is that when you get up to speed, you want as little of the plane in the water as possible, creating the least amount of drag. Yeah. And but like you say, you've got this massive bit here that you could potentially squash into the water again, but that would slow you down. So
yeah, I can understand if they went like that.
Yeah.
Like modern jet, you don't want a tail strike, but they don't. They just gently.
Yeah.
As I say, maybe it's something to do with the drag in the water. Maybe they don't want anything low.
Yeah.
Touch the water.
Well. That was.
I mean, with flight.
Yeah.
There wasn't such a thing as an aircraft, just in living lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was again, it was Pan Am and Boeing, Pan Am
and
together with Boeing that pushed this design.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that they would have the Empire flying boat and the Sikorsky SH-46 or something before this. But I feel like this was the period of history where they were just making leaps upon leaps upon leaps in technological. Things were going so quickly that they were outdoing themselves with every new design. I mean, today we have Boeing is making new planes at the rate of one new design every 15 years, and that new design is only, I don't know, 5-10% more efficient than the previous previous decade. Whereas this is just like
completely.
This is just
We'll have 4 engines. We'll put them up there. Make it massive, and we'll do this. And
and I mean, you can see it's the whole idea of, like, if you think of any previous flying boat, you've got these massive stabilizers that hang down from the wing. All that drag, all those struts, all of the drag. Like they thought, you know what? Let's just get rid of that. Let's just have a hydro stabilizer underneath.
Was it that?
I wonder if they actually used to have water in here, because it looks like a little shallow pool. Yeah, and look, there's a water line.
Yeah,
there's a water line.
And piping and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe. Was that the size of the stabilizers? Surely that's not big enough.
I have a feeling they would have been a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's not going to take the weight.
At least a third wider.
Yeah.
I'd say at least a third wider. Didn't I hear though something about them saying they enlarged the stabilizers at one point? I read that somewhere. I think this morning in the document. Yeah. I think they enlarged in the hydro stabilizers. So that may have been the original. I don't know, but interesting.